Once a certain man was following Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais and insulting him. When Al-Ahnaf reached the quarter where he lived, he stopped and advised, "Young man, if you have any more to say to me, then say it all now, before some of the half-wits of the neighborhood hear you and respond to you in kind." It was narrated that the ruler of the faithful, Ali ibn Abu Talib, once summoned his servant, but he did not respond. He called him again and again. Then Ali himself went to the servant and, seeing that he was laying down, asked, "Perhaps you cannot hear me, O servant." When the servant answered that he could, the ruler of the faithful asked, "Then what caused you not to answer my call?" The servant replied, "I feel safe from your punishment, so I allowed myself to be lazy." Then Ali said to him, "Go, you are free for the sake of Almighty Allah." It is said that Ma'ruf al-Kakhri stopped at the Tigris River to make an ablution and put his Quran and cloak aside. A woman then came along and took them. He then caught up with the stranger and said to her, "O my sister, I am Ma'ruf. Do not worry. I will not do you any harm. Do you have a son who can read?" She replied that she did not. Then Ma'ruf asked, "Or maybe you have a husband who reads?" And when she again answered in the negative, he said to her, "Then return the Quran to me. You can keep the cloak." Once thieves impudently broke into Sheikh Abu Abdurrahman's as-Sulami's home and carried away everything in it. It was said that he told his friend, "I once went to the market and saw my stolen cloak being auctioned, but I turned away without paying the matter any attention." A woman once shouted to Malik ibn Dinar, "O you hypocrite!" He retorted, "O woman, you have found that name of mine which the townspeople of Basra have overlooked thus far?" Yahya ibn Ziyad al-Kharithi had a servant with a bad temper, and when Yahya was asked, "Why do you keep such a bad servant?" he answered, "That I might learn forbearance." They say that Ibrahim ibn Adham once went into the wilderness and met a soldier there who were asked, "Where is the nearest settlement?" Ibrahim ibn Adham pointed towards the cemetery. The soldier thought that he was mocking him and struck Ibrahim painfully on the head, hurting him. When Ibrahim left, the soldier was told that this man was Ibrahim ibn Adham, the ascetic from Khorasan. And then the soldier came to him to apologize. In response, Ibrahim said to him, "When you struck me, I asked the Almighty to grant you paradise." The soldier asked about the reason for such an appeal, and Ibrahim replied, "I knew the God would reward me for taking the beating. However, I did not want my portion to be good at your expense, and yours be bad because of me." It is narrated that a certain person invited Sheikh Abu Uthman al-Khiri to dinner, and when the righteous man arrived at the gate of the house, he heard from the owner, "O Sheikh, now is an unsuitable time for you to come inside. And anyway, I regret having invited you. Therefore, you must leave." And when Abu Uthman had already reached the gates of his own house, he heard the person calling him again, "O Sheikh, I very much regret what was said," and began to apologize and said, "Please come now." The Sheikh went a second time, and at the gate of the house heard the same words as the first time. That person behaved in exactly the same way with the righteous for a third and fourth time. Abu Uthman al-Hiri dutifully leaving and coming again to the man's door only to be sent away, and only after yet another refusal did this man admit, "O Sheikh, I only wanted to test you," and then began to apologize profusely and praised him. Then the Sheikh said, Do not praise me for a quality belonging to dogs. For when a dog is called, it comes, and when it's yelled at, it turns away. Another tradition says that Abu Uthman was once walking along a road in the midday heat, and suddenly from the roof of one of the houses, a bucket of ashes was tripped onto the righteous. His companions became very angry and began to curse the person who dumped the ashes. However, Abu Uthman ordered, "Do not say anything. One who deserved the hellfire but is covered only with ashes has no right to be angry." It is said that a murid once came to visit Ja'far ibn Hanzala. The householder tended to the murid with the utmost hospitality, whereupon he said, "You would be a fine person were it not for the fact that you are Jewish." To this, Ja'far responded, "My religious creed has no effect on my service of your needs. Therefore, pray for a cure for yourself and for guidance for me." It is said that one of the fire worshippers was a regular customer of the tailor Abdullah al-Khayyat. Abdullah sewed clothes for him, and he always paid with counterfeit dirhams, which Abdullah used to accept. Once, because he was busy, Abdullah was unable to go to his shop. When the fire worshipper again came with fake dirhams, Abdullah's apprentice refused to take them, and the fire worshipper consequently had to pay with genuine money. Upon his return, Abdullah inquired of his apprentice, "Where is the magician's shirt?" The apprentice told him what had happened. Then Abdullah exclaimed, "You have done a terrible thing. This man has been paying me in fake dirhams for a long time, but I showed patience by throwing these coins into a well so he would not cheat others with them." Chapter 5. Asceticism in the World. The meaning of renunciation of the worldly. The essence of renunciation of the worldly, zuhd, is the emptiness of the heart from all except the Almighty, its forgetfulness of causes and reasons, the renunciation of any means of obtaining worldly possessions, and also the renunciation of property itself. By renunciation is meant the absence of any hope for a long life and the liberation of both the heart and hands from pursuit of the goods of worldly life. Asceticism leads a person to generosity with possessions, just as love begets generosity of the spirit. No one attains the essence of asceticism until three qualities take root within him. The first is the absence of the heart's attachment to performing deeds, that is, he does not cling to his work, but rather attaches his heart to reliance on God Almighty, and his work is nothing but following the ways that God Almighty commanded to follow. The second is to talk without enticement, that is, with lack of desire to obtain others' goods through one's words. The third is distinction without vanity and striving for ambition. This means that no matter how much Almighty Allah might elevate a person's authority, a true servant of Allah always perceives himself to be lower and more unworthy than others. Such a servant of Allah does not seek to dominate other people and does not place himself higher than them. And know that the love of the world is reprehensible in all laws and is the root of every sin and the cause of every fitna. The servant must obtain from the world and remove from his heart the love of prestige, for love of prominence is more harmful to its owner than the love of wealth, and they both are indicative of the love of the worldly, and it is an enemy to man. Contempt for the worldly is necessary, renounce it. Know that Allah's close servants have revealed the true essence of worldly life and have discerned all the inconsequentiality of the worldly, dunya. Therefore, the righteous accord the worldly no attention and do not attach their hearts to it. It is said that one day our master Ali ibn Abu Talib entered a cemetery and said, "O inhabitants of the graves, peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and His grace. Will you tell us your news, or will we tell you ours?" In response, he heard a voice saying, "And peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and His grace. Tell us what happened after us." Then Ali continued, "Your wives got married, your property was dispersed, your children became orphans, and your enemies settled in your houses, which you built and made strong. This is the sort of news we have. And what is your news?" And the voice replied, "Our shrouds have rotted, our hair has fallen out, our skin has decomposed, our eyes poured down onto our cheeks, our nostrils have fluid with separation and pus. What we offered we found, and of what we have neglected we suffered a loss and were mortgaged to our deeds." Righteous ones have said the following about the worldly. Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad said, "If the whole world were presented to me, and I was not held accountable for it on the Day of Judgment, I would be disgusted by it as one of you would detest carrion if he passed by it, cautious that it would not soil his clothes."